but she's success with Global.Media.com and celebrating with or without champagne or rum, but she's success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum.
Hello, everyone. That brings my special guest speaker on stage. Welcome, Dr. Leslie. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. I don't know. I can't see who's here yet. I should find out in good time.
Michelle Ramos. Yeah.
She's always here. Now, welcome. She's always early as well. Welcome, Michelle. Right, so this is my Being Your Authentic Self in Business audio room, or LinkedIn Live now, right? It has changed from audio room. And what happens in this room? I suppose we talk about the things that help us build our business. And from experience, I guess those two things, they come down to two things. Everyone thinks if you work harder, you can build a business faster, more successfully, more profitable. But I've learned from experience and from the very best that it's not always about working harder. It is about working smarter. And what does working smarter mean? I guess now it means essentially finding the tricks and the tools that can help you to do more, achieve more, often by doing less. And that sounds crazy. And I kept saying to my coach, no, I can't do less. I can't do less. But eventually I learned a lesson. Only recently, Dr. Leslie, I learned a lesson that success does lie in doing less, but you must learn to use all the tools you have. And the tools we have include our minds, strangely. So business success comes down to two things for me. And I said, learning to use your mind, what we call mindset, and also working towards business growth. You do your business growth strategies. Those are two things we talk about in this room. So we talk about literally how can you use your mindset more, and how can you grow your business efficiently, effectively, and whatever word you want to use. Dr. Islam, welcome. Great to see you. Glad you're here. Cesario, welcome as well. Thank you so much for being here. Linda, I hope you're getting better. I hope you're getting well. Thank you for joining us. I think you're all the way in Canada, right? And Lance, welcome. So Lance, it's a business, business generalist. He does many different things in business. What do you need him to do is what he will ask you. He tends to have the skills to help you in that sense. Chris, welcome. Chris, you're not late. You're never late when you join our event. I appreciate everyone who joins us, and as long as you're here whilst we're still on, I appreciate you all. You're never late. Let me welcome Divine, the lady with the challenge as well. Welcome. Michael, I see you. Excellent. Michael's doing his Christmas greetings. Right, okay. So my friends, if you don't know who I am Eni Osung. If you know who I am, Cesaria, maybe not so well. Chris, maybe not so well as well. So I'm Eni Osung, and my company is called Global.Media. Whilst we're a marketing agency, my whole dream, my vision, my mission is to make my friends famous. I want everyone to know who my friends are. That way my friends can sell more of what they do, help more people, build their wealth and build their business. That's why this room exists in the way it does, right? And so I guess maybe my two tricks come down to helping you publish your book. I've got a team that'll help you write your book, do the covers, do the editing, and so on and so forth. Everything you need to get your book done, we can help you with. But I want to do the layouts and publishing. I also want to do the other part, which is make your book a bestseller. So if you have a book that's not doing much, that's just sitting there on your computer, let's publish it. If you've got a book that's published but not going anywhere, let's help you market the book. Invariably, the marketing will come down to a mixture of audio rooms like this or lives like this, and some of our other services. The more people have joined us, Sam Hall is an entrepreneur. I'm glad you're here. Welcome from Southwest Virginia. I know where that is. I really don't. Again, hello to Eni and Leslie. I see you. Dr. Gwendolyn, an amazing author of 18 books and counting. Dr. Gwendolyn is our literacy expert, the world's literacy expert, really. So she goes around building schools and telling schools around to help our children to learn more. Anyway, so I've told you who I am, and I'll let my special guest introduce herself as well. Dr. Leslie, please tell them who you are.
Well, today I'm the queen of errata. So actually, I have manifested a whole new world that we can all live in that's really on the fifth dimension. And that is the mindset work, because jumping to different dimensions is mindset. And that's my specialty, along with manifesting what you want. And Annie's point about less is more was exactly right, because once you understand the process for anything you do, publishing, manifestation, whatever it is, once you understand the process, there are less steps, right? In the beginning, there are many steps. So my work is really a hybrid built on Think and Grow Rich, the 13 principles of success, also universal laws, one of which is the key to manifestation. There are 7, and a number of other disciplines, levels of awareness, all sorts of different things. And I've written a dozen books. Now, I haven't written them all. I'm a co-author on most of them. Okay? But The Possibility of Errata, which is my first fiction, was number 10, and it's my book. And by the way, yesterday I spent 5 hours recording the audio book. So if the good Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, as they say, the audiobook for book 1 will be available before the end of the year. And then in the spring, book 2. Well, the way I did the book and how I've moved in a way from teaching you exactly how to manifest what you want. I've been doing this for 16 years, and I have 500 client results of 12-week goals using the process that I've created and the 12 laws of achievement. Because what I discovered was pretty early on that nobody knew how to set a goal that you could achieve consistently. Nobody in high school, our parents, our college professors over 16 years, no one knew. So then we were stuck with haphazard results. And that's not how you build your business. That's not how you gain momentum, right, Annie? Oh, you're in and out of the picture. There you are. So the way I work with people is in business quarters, 12 weeks. And I take you through my hybrid program, which is the pure process of manifestation with all the other things that I know mixed in, so that you will learn the process and then be able to repeat it. It's really just missing information that I've spent a lot of time and deep study in figuring out what is it going to take for people to have what they want? What's missing? What did nobody teach us? And if you're ready and you have a growth mindset, it's the latest buzzwords. I've never used those words, but I do get what it is. You have to be open to new concepts. If you're in a fixed mindset and you're resisting it, you know what? That's okay. Because nobody can tell you when you're ready to get hungry and thirsty for new information, for higher awareness. So when you're ready, you'll find the right person. So you can work with me for 12 weeks. January, February, and March, and I take you through the process. Or you could take a workshop, or you can just come here on LinkedIn, which I teach a couple of times a week. So that's a little bit about me. You muted, my friend.
Oh, no, that's amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure.
I see Kenna is here as well. Who else is new? Oh, the legend Linda Gray's here. Linda Gray's truly a legend, and she's a legend of my youth, legend of my time now. So glad you're here. If you watch TV, the years ago, that you know who I'm mentioning, Linda Gray especially. I think that's someone I manifested, Dr. Leslie. Really, I think, having true superstars. Linda, you're that person. Thank you for always supporting us. Thank you so much. Look, Dr. Leslie mentioned a few things, I think, a couple of things that I think are hugely important. Now, she mentioned the fifth dimension. I think the conversation today, the manifestation, the manifesting, practice. I accept, Dr. Leslie. It's about taking ourselves from what we see, what we think we know, what we feel, what we hear, our senses basically, into a different realm, into almost the spiritual world. So I would always say that we achieve what we achieve, not always by what we think. We think, if we just keep headbutting that wall, the wall will crack, the wall will fall. It's rarely the case. I think there's a spiritual element to what we do and how we get to where we want to get to. I think that so today's conversation is about learning how that spiritual and our emotional selves sort of work together. That's today's this is going to be a conversation about what I think, how I think, or how I understand the world works, and Dr. Leslie being the mindset expert, explaining to us how she knows it works. So if we say something that doesn't sound like we're saying the same thing, don't believe a word of it. It's the way I explain what I think. I say I happily defer to Dr. Leslie because she's the one who's written the books about mindset. She's the one who's been doing mindset for the last 50 years. I'm barely 50 years old, so that gives you an idea. I was sitting at this when she started.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. I think the other thing I want to pick up on your introduction, Dr. Leslie, is this idea of we tend to achieve haphazard results. I think there's this topic. Manifesting is not just about thinking your way to success. It is about the fact that the gods, the universe, whatever you believe in, loves action, loves people, the body moving to do. And so, and I think when we do, that's what I've seen enough people who think if they just wish it will happen. It doesn't happen that way. You must take action, and that the point of the action is that you take the right action, and then you become good at whatever it is you need to do. So that way you get consistent results. All of this plays a part in what we believe ultimately about ourselves, about what we're trying to do, about how we're going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure we're going to break this down even more as we go. Let me welcome, of course, I see the legend Aaron Gibson is here. Welcome, Mr. Showman Live. So glad you're here. Of course, and I saw you on Dr. Leslie's show earlier. You two went at Hotel Irada, an amazing place, and it looks like a magical place indeed. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't been to Aaron's show on Friday nights, you must go. Really, you must go. I've been lucky enough to be on the show once. He meets special guests who talk about their resilience and was rising from the ashes of mental health and life crisis. He also plays the best music online by a long, long way. I mean that's sincere. The man creates amazing videos. So hat tip to you, my friend. Hat tip to you. So Dr. Roxana, I see you. I know you're here. Welcome, one of my co-authors. Anthology you see behind me. Lessons we learned from COVID-19. You haven't bought your copy yet? Go and buy your copy. But Dr. Roxana is also now an international best-selling author for her book, Family Wealth Secrets: Strategies to Build and Preserve Family Wealth. So that's her latest achievement. I know she got 6 more books that Moi has to publish. That'll take a while, but you got to start somewhere, right? Tracy, I see you. Who's new? Nicole, welcome, Nicole. Glad you're here. Of course, the legend Paulette Hallam is here as well. Now, this is it's like a secret. Now, Paulette's new book we launched yesterday. New School Niggles. The secret is that Paulette's book currently has won 32 awards on Amazon. 32. So that's 16 bestsellers in 4 countries and 16 number one hot new releases. Because the book literally is brand new, right? Now we released it last week, at the weekend. So it's every time Paulette got
Let me
bestseller.
ask
Yeah.
you something. So that's 16 categories. It's only 3 books. Am I correct in that?
No, no, this is one
No.
book.
Okay.
This is one book, right?
But the
No,
16 are those categories or how right, okay, so it's different classifications. Is that what you mean?
no. You see, the trick on Amazon is to understand how the categories really work, right?
Mm,
On the surface, Amazon gives you 3 categories where you put
right.
your book. Yes. So then I let that sink in. You can choose 3 categories, and that's where your book goes. See, but I know that Amazon has what, 12 shops, 14 shops. I think there are 14 shops on
I
Amazon.
got it. I got it. I got it.
You get
Okay.
the idea. So 3 times 14, you can have a lot more categories. And
Great.
when you change the categories, I'll say this lastly if I can. When you change the categories on Amazon, Amazon still leaves you in some of the categories that they want you to be in. It's rather
Right.
weird. So when I look at my screen, I see my client has 7 categories, for example. Because where I've chosen 3, Amazon's put them in 4 by themselves, and that's just how it is. So
Thank you.
then we have to upsell in those categories. So that's how Paulette's got her numbers. The
Thank
reports
you.
will come out soon, and I'd love to show everyone how it works. I'd love for everyone to truly understand how we get these bestsellers. Anyway, it's a joy. Look, again, everything I do involves this manifesting principle. It really does. Of course, before I did Paulette's book, the day before was Dr. Roxana's book. And I'm literally wishing, praying, dreaming, you know, literally visualizing the success of my clients' books. I visualize how they're going to get to number one. I visualize the results they're going to get. And I don't just visualize, and I'm up all night with my clients half the time, saying, right, let's do this. Let's send these messages. Let's do these posts. Let's do this. Let's do that. Right? Let's email your family and friends. Let's send more messages. Let's do more. Let's do this. That's part of my manifestation, my manifesting experience, Dr. Leslie. When I said earlier, man, the God's like action. I dream it, I think it, and I put all my heart and soul into every book that we market. And when we get a result like Paulette's, I'm astonished. But I guess deep down, I know we've done the work. Now, so let's begin a conversation in earnest. If
Okay.
anyone if anyone wants to come on stage, please, you are more than welcome to come on stage. Jay is another one of us, best-selling authors that we got. We got 5 bestsellers in the US. Literally, last week. Welcome, Jay. So manifesting helped me achieve ownership of three of my homes. So I hear you loud and clear, my friends. I have a story, a property story. When I was younger, I dreamt of not I dreamt. I dared to say to myself, I want to be a landlord. I want to own a whole street full of homes, a whole street, both sides, right? Have I come around to owning a street of homes? Not yet. I did very well though. I did own 6 homes that were rented out to people, and in England, that's sizable property portfolio. So again, there's something in how you declare your desire to the world, to the universe. So now, when I was younger, I just let it go. So I'll say, okay, I want to, I want to be a landlord. I want to own all these properties. I didn't know how the hell I was going to do it, Dr. Leslie. I'm sure you're saying I know it's how the world works, right? So many of us think we know everything. We think we must know every step for everything. So I want to buy properties. I'm going to start with no. That's not how it works, right? My luck was that eventually I met my wife, and she had a similar idea. And then one day, my sister called me and said, "I've just bought a property Let's use that money. Let's earn money from that property to buy another one. Suddenly, any property dreams becomes a reality. We start somewhere. We buy the first house, and so we go on. Then eventually we extract money from that, and then buy the second house, and the third, and so you get the idea, right? Again, this is purely a dream that I had one day. The dream that I guess part of the conversation is that you have to truly believe in what you're talking about, what you really want. You have to truly believe it's going to happen.
Mhm.
Listen, all that said, my friends, look, please do take notes for today. This is my first show I haven't got to record and put my copy on YouTube because it's going to be there automatically. But this time, it's going to have my guest speakers and also you, if you want to come on stage. Your shares will be here, will be there forever, right? So the link for to come on stage is on the event page. Go and have a look. You see a StreamYard link. Please click on it and do come up on stage. I've got a couple of videos to show you, but if we get this manifesting right, our lives will transform.
What would you like to begin with? Or what are we going to talk about, Henny?
No, there's much to talk about, but I mean, setting the scene so people really do understand. I think that's important. Look, so what we're going to talk about, Dr. Leslie, is quite simple. What is manifesting? How do we do it properly to get the results that we want in life? That's our basic question today. If anyone has any strategies that have worked for them, any insights that we can learn, please click on the StreamYard link. If you want the link, put it on the comments here. Don't put it on LinkedIn. I'm not going to see LinkedIn comments because I'll see that after the event, right? I'm looking at the screen in front of me. That's just how it is. Right. So, Dr. Leslie, what is manifesting to you?
Just a second, I'm sending you a note.
That's all right. You can just tell me. We're here together, right? It's okay. All right. It's all right.
All right. So, what is it? It's the ability to take an idea and turn it into physical form. That is manifesting. Take an idea, one idea, take it through a particular process, which is one of the universal laws. It's transmuting energy of one form, which is thought energy, idea, into physical form. Manifestation is alchemy, which you've probably heard of the book, The Alchemist. Alchemy is an old, sometimes doesn't have a very positive feel to it. But that's basically what manifesting is. You're taking an idea, which is thought energy, and you're using your own conscious awareness in a very particular process where you basically turn idea into form. That's what it is. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, but you're talking to the congregation, if you want to call it that, right?
That's
the choir,
the simplest form.
The choir. And I understand some of it. But here's my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nicole makes a good point. I agree with visualizing the process and the end goal. It feels like it brings it into reality. Yes, and I agree with Nicole, but I think there's a lot more to it. I think a lot of us visualize our process every day, yet we don't get the results we want.
I'll tell you why.
Please, what's going on there? You tell me. That's what I want them to know.
Visualization is the DNA of manifestation. So visualization is to the idea like a physical seed, the DNA in the, let's just say, acorn. There's no little oak tree in the acorn. So some people call an idea a spiritual seed. That's what I call it. Because all ideas are already here. They're not in your head. They're offered to you from the universe. You don't have to know exactly how it works, but you get ideas. So with a physical seed, the acorn is a seed and it's dying until you plant it, but there's no little oak tree inside. the acorn. What's there is the ability to attract whatever is needed to nurture and grow roots, right? And then we can say exactly when the tree will sprout above ground through experience, empirical evidence, depending on what the weather is. Well, now look at the spiritual seed is not different except for one thing. So when you get the idea, you have to have DNA. The DNA is your visualizing it in complete form in spaced intervals over time. Now, the visualization has to spike your cellular vibration into love. So it makes sense that if you want something, it's really cool to love it, because then every time you think about it, every other day, all your cells move in one direction, and it is the vibration of the cells that alerts the universe to send you what you want at that vibration. However, when the idea is first gotten by you, it's created twice in that moment. The first moment is your idea and thinking about it and thinking how cool it would be and how it would help people. The second iteration is the full manifestation of your dream. When you begin to visualize in space consistent intervals over time, and you're excited about it every time, so you're raising your vibration and you're visualizing it as though you've already achieved it, because that's much more motivating than looking at it in the distance. And you do this over a period of time. The velocity or amplitude of vibration of your cellular vibration is the speed with which that second fully manifested iteration of what you want arrives on your doorstep. The date, however, is the difference between the physical and the spiritual seed, because another one of the universal laws determines exactly what day, but that doesn't stop you from setting a particular day, because the whole purpose of it is to stay motivated until you finish the thing. So the visualization is the DNA, just like what's in the acorn that alerts the universe, send me water, send me sunshine, whatever it is in the conditions that it's planted. Then the same thing is happening within us. The mystery is the transmutation of radiant energy. The idea uses us. In other words, no animal can do this, except maybe the crow. Pretty clever birds. But anyway, other than that, only humans have conscious awareness. Only we can take this idea, which is thought energy, and intentionally focus on it in present tense with excitement, heart-centeredness, you're in love with it, a higher vibration, in space consistent intervals over time, until that velocity has moved the second iteration on your doorstep. So you could be off by a week or two, but that's okay. Most of us say, if we're not going to hit the goal and we're getting really close, well, we failed. No, because it's not, we don't have the ultimate say. We can send the message to the universe through our vibration, and that's all through thinking. So understand that mind and brain aren't the same. This is the last thing I'll say, because I know it's a lot. Mind is an activity. It is not the brain. And it is a cellular activity. There's been lots of scientific proof that when you think good things, there's a spring in your step, right? There's the perfect result. When you think crappy things, you're dragging your feet. Yes, and Paulette says that's absolutely right. You have to visualize it as though you've already achieved it, because it excites you, because it raises your vibration. That's our job. Our job is to visualize what we want to juice up our cells, it sends a message to the universe, which starts to move what you want to you. And so another law, which is the law of gender or gestation, will determine the exact day. Now, most times we're close, right? We can get close. But like with this book, the possibility of errata, the original idea started 25 years ago for a different reason. I wasn't writing a book. Okay, I was in pain. My marriage had broken up, and I was doing long drives, and I got bored. So I started visualizing this planet errata and this whole story to keep myself entertained. So when I got to the mountains, I would jot down, but only had done the topography, the climate, the kind of the skeleton of this world. And then I never touched it for 22 years because I didn't know how big it was, the idea, and I was not prepared to enjoy the achievement of it. So 22 years later, I had done all this study, which is in the book, and I was ready to match the vibration of the size of the story. And then what that allowed me was to absolutely enjoy the whole process. There was no fear. There were no obstacles. Obstacles were like, bing, we come up with different solutions. So those are the times when you don't reach your goal, but you've bitten off something so big that the universe is saying, hold on, Annie, you want this, but you're not a vibrational match yet. You won't be able yet to manage that much money until you learn some more things. Then is when it shows up. The end for now.
No, I think, I think that look, it's important to learn. Sorry.
There's a lot. I know there's a lot there. And
I had to turn down my LinkedIn volume because that's playing in the background. Look, I think knowing how to truly manifest what we want is a challenge. Let's not pretend it's not. I struggled, and I said, listen, I remember Donna saying to me, Annie, you have to truly believe that you've done this already. When you do that, it's a given you're going to get what you want. I've heard Bob Proctor say the same thing. And I was like, well, I haven't done it yet. I'm working towards it. And she was like, no, that's not how it works, right? You truly, I think it's so important to understand, Dr. Leslie, again, clarify, reject, correct, do as you wish, right? I think, it took me a long time to understand almost you have to be the person who has what you dream of having.
That brings up a particular model, which is pretty simple. And I think it's really important. So most of us do this. When I have money, I'll open a business and I'll be a CEO. The goal is to be a CEO, let's assume. But the reverse is really what the very few people understand, which you're pointing to. First, let me be being a CEO. Let me emulate. Let me look at CEOs. Then in that vibration, this is why it works. Then I'll open a business and then I'll have the money. So most people believe that they have to have the money first. And that is the biggest mistake. What you have to do, I don't agree with Donna exactly on this, because believing it's more than that. It's stepping out on faith. It's not believing in yourself so much. It's because you can prove that when you achieve. It's believing that there are things going on that you do not understand yet they're still working. So are you willing to take a step and take a step out on faith? The only way that you're going to do that and not be stopped by your own fear is to be so determined and so in love, and you are the only one. Nothing will stop you. The fears go away. The action helps to allay the fears. They keep coming back. It doesn't matter. You go back to why you wanted it so that you can stay in that high vibration. So it's more like faith. You don't have faith in yourself to do this. You
Yes.
don't believe you can do it. You've
Mm.
proven that you failed dozens of times. It takes something heart-centered. It takes something special
Mm.
for you to really run the gauntlet against your fears. What if I
Yes.
look bad? What if I fail? What if I lose money? What if I get sick? What if I die? What if I get old? What if my marriage breaks up? All those fears come up and say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So you have to have something that you're desperately in love with, that nothing will stop you. And it's rare. It's
Mm.
rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to say about
No,
that.
and I'm with you entirely. You know, I think for me, there was always that feeling in the back of my mind, that fear, as you call it. Are you sure?
That's right.
Can you do this?
Right.
What if you fail? And I don't think people realize that just that moment of doubt, that
Mhm.
little seed of doubt, is
Mhm.
enough to scupper our manifesting
Kill your
results.
dream. It kills your
Like
dream
that's the way. I agree.
on the spot. And let me just
Every
say here,
time.
it's about, listen, one thing, let me tell everybody this, okay? Don't
Mm,
use SMART goals to set a big dream.
mm,
SMART goals is for tasks created
yes.
by middle management, and yet people are so fixed on this is the only thing we know, and they push that square peg into the round hole over
Mm,
and over again, and they end up with results here, no results here. It
mm.
doesn't work. So yeah. Anyway, go
No,
ahead. Your
it's,
turn
no,
to talk.
I think it's an important point, Dr. Leslie, in the sense that see, I know now to be grateful to have achieved my goals already. But I don't say I want to. No, I'm not grateful to achieve £10,000 for it or 10,000 books. It's 10,000 plus. I think what you just said is really important. It's crucial. We think we know what we want, and when we don't get exactly what we want, we think we failed. I think we have to give the universe a chance to give us more abundance than
Exactly.
magic that we can dream of. And
Yes.
so when we manifest, properly, abundance is it's life changing every time. So and the life we get to live is beyond anything we can dream of. It's better than our imagination can ever be. So I look at manifest about the process of bringing faith, trust, and action into alignment with your goals. Yeah, of course we agree. We agree. But my friends, I say again, many people don't do manifesting properly. They don't get the results they want, and they wonder why isn't it working? This doesn't work for me. No, that's not the case. I think
It
we've
works for everybody. You're just missing information. It's
yeah,
that simple. There's stuff that's out there that you don't know yet. Listen, of the 12 laws of achievement, Annie, most
mm,
people know 8 or 9. I
mm,
mean, through haphazard and practice, you do know most of them, but it's the ones that you never knew that are counterintuitive that trip us up. Once
yeah,
you fill in, and so those are the puzzle pieces.
mm,
So it's just missing it. That's all it is missing information, and then practice and focus on the process. That's it. It's that simple. It really is.
practice is an important
Mhm.
word. Again, sometimes, like I say now, for my property idea, I got away with thinking of it, but of course, I'm sure I thought of it a bit more often. Before I share my first video, Dr. Leslie,
Mhm.
the question of you mentioned visualizing at time-space intervals, right?
Yes. Every other
What?
day, a few
How
minutes. Yeah.
often? Right, how often? Now, what is it? What's the right amount of time space to
Oh,
visualize the goal?
it's not so much right amount. Well, it's consistently, but
Mm,
it's not for. Well, just look at when we learn multiplication tables,
mm,
because repetition is the first law of learning. So think about that. We did it every day ad nauseum. I danced around the house 5, 10, 15, 20, right? Oh, I was so proud of myself. And we didn't do times tables once a week. We did them every day, and then we practiced them every other day. We repeated them. And now when I say 6 times 7, everybody knows it's 42.
Yeah.
So that's the sequencing. It doesn't have to be every day, but it will when you start. But it's not a lot of time. It's a mental process using imagination and visualization that lifts your cellular vibration and alerts the universe, hey, this is where I'm headed. And the universe will respond. It also works for negative. The
Yeah.
action, it's also negative works the same way. So most of us manifest negativity based on our fears. Oh, I'll
Yeah.
never get the job, so you don't get the job. Oh, I'll never write that book, so you never write the book. You get exactly what you believe about your ability and your deservability. And that's my
True.
work. That is the crux of the work I do with my clients.
Yeah, that's why you need a mindset coach. I truly agree that because I mean, I practice. I visualize my goals every day. So when I wake up, I do my mindset practice, visualizing, writing down my goals, meditating, listen to one Bob Proctor lesson invariably, and finding some other content to listen to learn from for the day. And it's mostly repetition, right? So I'll come back to that in a second. Let me welcome Coach Brenda Lees. I see you. Welcome, Brenda Lees. Tamrat, welcome as well. The legend, Dr. Constance. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If any of you got any thoughts you want to add to the conversation or even questions, please do come on stage. I mean, I do want to hear you. I do want to see. Of course, I want to see you, but you can turn your camera off if you want to. Let me play a Bob Proctor video. And then let's try and use that almost as to reinforce the points you're making, Dr. Leslie.
Well, you know that I studied with him and I'm certified to teach all his work.
Yes,
yeah.
That's why I'm lucky. It's a Bob Proctor video. That's a mindset school that I've learned from. So I'm glad that you are, more than well versed in their teaching. And it's about 3 or 4 minute video. 3-minute video maximum. Let's see what we can learn and unpick from this.
Attracting what you actually want. I think James Allen put it very well in his little book, As a Man Thinketh. He said, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Now think about that. If you want to attract what you want, you've got to see yourself already with it. You've got to understand that you've already got it. First of all, clearly understand this. Nothing is created or destroyed. That means everything's already here. If not in one state, certainly in another. Where did the iPhone come from? The iPhone came from a series of ideas that individuals entertained in their mind. And they kept holding the idea until the stuff came to them that enabled them to build the phone. The stuff had already been here. Nothing is created or destroyed. All science, all theology teach that. If nothing's created or destroyed, everything that is already here. Our problem is we've got to wait until we see it outside before we believe we've got it. Start dealing with the non-physical world, with the invisible world, with the world that you can't see through these little peepers that you've got here we call eyes. Start to see yourself mentally. You've been given the faculties to do that. Use your imagination. See yourself already in possession of the good you desire. That will flip your mind onto a specific frequency, and you do think on frequencies. It's on that frequency that good you desire is going to start coming toward you, and you will start moving toward it. If you want to attract what you actually want, you've got to see yourself now already with it. And know it's only a period of time until you moving toward it and it moving toward you, and you become one with it. That is how it's done. James Allen was right. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. You've got to become what you want. You've got to realize that the minute you hold your mind in harmony with the good you want, then you've already got it. It's only a period of time till it manifests in physical form. You've got it intellectually, and you can talk to somebody about it. You've got it emotionally, you can share your feelings. It's only a period of time till it moves into form. That's called the perpetual transmutation of energy. That is a law, the first law of the universe. Do it. See yourself with what you want.
Well, this is exactly what I explained.
Indeed,
Precisely.
indeed.
And it's actually evolved into a more in-depth, simplified, but he's saying exactly the same thing. The only difference is well, it's really what you want is moving toward you with the same velocity or amplitude of vibration or frequency that you're moving toward it. But it's really the speed with which that second iteration, right, is going to basically meet you. But I explained it, and so now you've had two explanations on
Yeah,
exactly the same.
maybe I should start with a video, but you have explained it precisely as I say it, exactly as I say it,
Mhm.
and the way it works. I hope that makes sense to everyone. There's still more conversations to be had. Peter, welcome. Dr. Amaka, welcome. Dr. Amaka, I'm glad you're here. I guess the thing for me is that you get what you are.
Well, that was the model about be, do, have, do, be. Like when I have money, I'll open a business and I'll be a CEO. What he's saying is be the CEO. That's what you're saying. Be the person. And that's what Paulette said. You are visualizing as though you already have it, because that in elevates your vibration, the frequency. He calls it frequency. It's the amplitude of vibration. It doesn't matter. It's all the same thing, right? But that is the key to the whole thing. And so he's right. Now I've had 16 years on top of his work, so mine is now evolved in a different way using the same foundation, but also everything else that I've learned, and to make it simple, just like Bob did. That was one of the brilliant things about him, was that he could simplify things. And that's my intention too. So people understand this stuff. You're just missing information. That's it.
Indeed. Look, I love Nicole's comments. I think when we're doing something new, something truly momentous, something that's towards our big goal, something that's that's going to challenge us, like a trilogy, Nicole. I think we do have that. So that fear comes across our mind, right? The fear we talked about earlier, Dr. Leslie. Can I do this? Will I do this? What if it goes wrong? What if I don't finish? What if everyone runs away? What if the world goes to meltdown? But you must trust yourself and trust the universe, trust the world.
Trust God.
Yes, if God's
Because for me, God is the same thing as the universe, which is spirit, which is there's only one. You can put all the labels you want. You can take different religions and add their rules. Ultimately, I do believe that we all believe there is one energetic force of love that always has our back and is omnipresent.
Indeed.
And I think everybody can get with that, right? That way you don't get hung up on, well, Buddha, Krishna, Jesus, or, please, it's one. And we are co-creators. God doesn't give us anything. We do it together through imagination and visualization and intuition. We do it with the universe. We really do. We really do. So don't sit around waiting, because we'll get it if we're willing to do the work, if we're ready and willing. Unfortunately, in most instances, for very many, it takes a while for them to understand that there is no overnight. There is no magic pill. You have to do the work. And if you're not ready, fine. But one day you will wake up and you will be ready, and then you'll do the thing.
And so to me, that's where that is when you become the person who has that it will come to you.
Yes.
And maybe I'll say also, I've learned that just thinking about it, just doing all the mindset stuff is not going to bring it to you. Nicole says, I learned as I went. And that's I think we must learn. We must keep developing
and practice.
Person. Yeah.
And practice. Yeah.
I agree. Keep doing. I wrote something else down.
Are you off stage? He's off stage.
No, I'm here. No. I suppose a question for you is this issue of when it's gonna come.
When? Well, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
that's,
think we all want it on this particular day.
yep.
And I want to be earning £1 million a year in my business. By the end of 2025, by
Mhm,
the time we're out of Christmas break on 23rd of December 2025, right?
mhm, mhm.
But that's not how the world works. That's not how manifesting works. It will come to me when I'm ready, right? It will come to me when I'm that person, when I'm in the right position. No, what's your take?
It comes to you when you have invested in learning how to manage the bigger things. So let me give you an example with the lottery. Okay, so you have a person who starts a business and they do quite well, and then they get up to $50,000 a year, and there are all these lessons that they learn um, that goes with earning $50,000 a year. Then they move their business up to 75,000 or 100,000, and along the way, what they're doing is learning the lessons, overcoming the obstacles. And so they're really at the same alignment or vibration, if you will. Then they do 150 and 200. So by the time you get to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, you are a vibrational match for this.
Yes.
That means you can enjoy it. Now, the person who has who wins the lottery, they're down here. They have no clue how to manage that money. They are not aligned. And then let's see, they got it. So it's up here, right? But it's just nothing but obstacles, and it just ends up worse. So this is the law of gender determines, were you ready and willing, and did you put in the effort required to achieve this and enjoy it? Now, I'll give you an example of an author 100 years ago, Fannie Hurst, who has written many plays and many movies. Now, she came from Ohio to be a writer. She wrote novels and plays and all sorts of different things. And she walked the streets of Broadway for 4 years. She got 36 rejections from, I can't think, the New Yorker magazine. Most of us, when we were rejected once or twice, we be headed home.
Yeah.
What does it take? So the way Napoleon Hill describes it is really clever. So after 4 years of pounding the pavement of Broadway and taking all these rejections, right? Not giving up, not giving into fear, he says, finally, Broadway gave up. In other words, she had met what was necessary for her to be that famous author, and she received an advance for $100,000 for a book that she hadn't even finished writing, the largest commission. And then after all that, all the movie people came in and the money came like crazy. But so that's how. At some point, the universe will say, okay, you've done the work. Now it's coming to you. The problem is you just have to keep looking up, as Paulette says. Keep looking up.
Yeah. Keep believing it's coming. Keep believing that you are that person. As Sandra says, and I think that clarity of belief and alignment is important. I think, and the thing is that I've learned is there is no place for that fear, that doubt. I work very hard to have total belief, and the things I have total belief in invariably turn out to the results I want. Maybe it's a question, Dr. Leslie, where when manifesting, yes, it's in your thoughts and emotions, as Sandra saying, but it's also in your practice. As you said earlier, we must keep doing.
You said that.
Yeah, so why keeping the whole thing going? No, we must.
Yes.
We must, because now, like you just said, we can't go from 0 to 1 million just like that. We have to build the foundations.
That's right. There are lessons to learn. There's stuff you don't know until you hit that next level. So sometimes, like I said, we don't know I mean, certainly if you want millions of dollars, you know that's a large goal, right? But for me, when I did the outline for Errata 25 years ago, I had no clue that it was anything other than notes I took because I was visualizing. But then 24 years later, the idea came back to me. I had done nothing on it. Nothing. And this is what happens. Sometimes you begin the manifestation and you think, well, it didn't happen, and you forget about it. And then boom, it shows up years later and you go, well, that's a coincidence, but it's not.
So take your time to explain that one, please. Because so we talked earlier about that time and space interval. I said I do my meditation every day. Some some say do it twice a day, morning and late. I'm saying, right, how do I explain that? I really want it, and then I'm gonna get it, and then we just put it aside in the cupboard for a while, and then suddenly it pops up. What's going on there?
You're not ready. You're not a vibrational match. I have a client. I had a client for in an emerging enterprise, medical devices, and he told me this story where 10 years before he had this fabulous idea and he got to work on it. Right? He actually began to build it and invested in it, and it just frittered away. Now, 10 years later, he's created this company, which is amazing. The idea came back to him, and he was more ready and more prepared to bring it to fruition. So the universe will hold back if you're not ready. That's why sometimes when you have, or most times when you have a very large philanthropic goal, like 10 million books or 10,000, whatever it is, the reason it's so important to have phases or sub goals, if you will. You can have a 12-week goal that you can complete and be done with. But the thing is, staying motivated for something 5 years down the road is hard. So what you do is, what I do, and many people do this, I break it down if it's a large philanthropic goal, and it could change. But the point is you have to stay busy and build momentum and raise your money, or earn your money. And when you get to that point, you may change your mind and do something completely different. So really the answer is what you're willing to put in. Are you ready and willing, and being okay if you're not? Now, I do want to tell you one thing about fear. Because the more we know about fear is our enemy. And this is the complexity of trying to get this stuff done, Annie. This is why it's haphazard and sporadic. You don't think that the universe gave us an easy ride. We have conscious awareness. No one else has that. The ability to choose thoughts, right? To practice choosing thoughts. But here's the thing. It's the old battle between good and evil. Everybody has 6 basic fears, okay? And you believe them. You have perfect faith in them. You could prove it to anybody right now. They are negative. They're deeply embedded in, and they're not thinking. These are your triggers and your reaction. Now, here are the 6. The first one is what you mentioned. It's the fear of criticism, the fear of judgment. We failed before. We've been criticized before. We've been judged before. And in repetitive patterns, and we think about it again and again, that impresses those thoughts into the subconscious as a fear. That's one fear. It's a big one. It's why people don't want to get on stage. Because when you were younger, you were humiliated. Now, when it comes up again, you go back to that age, to that low vibration, and you feel just as crappy as you did when you were 7 years old. That's only one. So you've got that one. But then the next one is the next biggie. The fear of poverty. Well, I can't afford it. And that's a lack of abundance, right? So that's the opposite. That's the law of polarity. You can prove that you can't afford it. You can prove it. So you have perfect faith in that fear of poverty. There just isn't enough money for me. And that's what mindset work is about, is to move you from that to the more thoughtful, the real thinking. Then the next one is fear of illness. Let's talk about COVID. Don't tell me that wasn't real. Don't tell me we had millions of people die. You have perfect faith in the fear of getting sick and dying. And it's deeply embedded. We've all experienced, friends. Then you have the fear of a breakup. Someone dies, you break up, there's a divorce. It's horrific. You revisited its misery. So every time you think about it, you're further impressing it as faith in your fear. Then you have old age, and then you have death. So these are the 6 basic fears. Now, only one thought prevails in any minute. So the work we're doing here, consciously overriding the fear, the fears will always be there. But what happens on this side, the conscious side, when you achieve something that you've never done before or you failed at and you actually do it, you've now disproven the fear. Now you actually have disproven in your ability and your deservability. So you actually, that's the work that I do, is continually creating new belief and faith in yourself, so that when you achieve these things that are out of this world, like this thing, right, then it builds self-confidence. Confidence is a byproduct of consistent achievement. So this is another point. As you achieve consistently and repeatedly over time, your confidence grows. If you don't do it, if you're haphazard, your confidence grows and then it wanes.
It falls, it goes back up, goes back down, goes up, goes down, right?
Exactly.
And then that throws everything into chaos.
Absolutely. It's not clear. Someone mentioned clarity. Yes, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. I love that book too. So all of that, these are the things that I teach and we practice and I explain. So you have to hear this many, many times from many different people, and then the light bulb will go off. So if any says it, when Bob Proctor said it, you may have resonated with him and not me. Or when
Leslie says it, that's another person saying it.
Right.
Many people here are saying the same now. Look,
yes.
I think we understand. We think we understand the principles. I think applying it is that. I think that's a gap, the knowing doing gap, right? That Bob Proctor talks about. I think that's the problem. Jeremy, I think I agree with you. Because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. As Bob Proctor taught us and taught me that the last thing to see it is your eyes. But the universe knows it's there. It's coming, as Dr. Leslie mentioned earlier. It's coming. Do you believe? Do you know it's coming? I think my point is this, Dr. Leslie. We have to bring ourselves to a state of knowing, where we just have total confidence.
Exactly. It's just missing information. It is that simple. When you're ready and willing to consider, let's just say some of the things I said. You could be really resistant, because I was certainly resistant years ago myself, resist and say, oh, well, that's not true. I disagree with that. What does she know? Believe me, I've heard that. But here's the thing. There's another way of being. Well, let me consider that. Why is she so sure? What don't I know? That is being vulnerable. That is leadership. That is building character. If you're not doing that, you're just not ready yet. And you'll be ready when you're ready.
I agree. I love what Jay's saying. If I knew what I was doing back in the day and had a mentor, imagine what I could really do. This is why we pay for mindset coaches like Dr. Leslie. That's why we pay. It's the best investment I've ever spent, apart from my car. I love my car. So what can I say, right? What can Nigerian and his merc? Leave me alone. That's our dream come true there, right? And that's a manifesting thing as well.
Yeah,
it really is. So that's what I've always wanted, and now I've had a few of them. I got another one. I'm all right with that. Omar, welcome, my friends.
I just want to tell you that Jay, obsessing is required. Jay, can you put Jay's comment back up here?
Yeah, obsessing. I think it's probably referring to.
It's not obsessing. You have to obsess. You have to be absolutely. You have to be obsessive about what you want to do. It has to fill your mind. It is the most important thing. Doesn't mean you think about it all the time, but you must be deeply in love with and obsessed. Think about the people who started the computer companies. You don't think they were obsessed? You don't think I was obsessed when I created this? I was completely obsessed. Nobody writes their own book. Nobody writes their own book. That book is written with the universe. You are a co-creator. So that's not even your work. That's not your book. That's God's book with you. You have a partner. Hey, you're a co-author with the universe.
You know, that's the next level of conversation, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
I know what you mean there.
You have to obsess about the result because of the gift it is to the universe. And if you don't believe that, you'll not achieve it, because your fears will come up and say, yeah, but Leslie, come on, you're not really going to do that for you.
I'm going to share the link with Paulette. The StreamYard link, Paulette, is in the comments. Let me share it with you now. And then I see Felipe is here. So are you still in Omar's game, by the way? Are you still in the game?
Actually, I am in the semifinals. I was off.
So you're on Paulette's in the semifinals. Well done.
Yes, and Angelica was like $1 or $10 ahead of me, so I was able to slip into the finals.
I like that. Look, let me show you another video quickly, and then we can talk about it. Of course, I see you, Kenny. I've got Felipe as well. I'll come to you in a second. Let me show my second video from Donna.
We've done a lot of manifesting together intentionally, as in just not sitting down and writing notebooks, because he's not doing none of that. He's just like, this is what I'm doing. I'm really good in my imagination. I'm very focused on what I'm, and this is what I want. And I'm more in the feminine, a bit of the masculine and the feminine, a bit softer, but a bit firm. I like a clear goal, a clear plan. I like to say, as in, not I'm going to do X, Y, and Z next week, but what do I want? Why do I want it? You can put a date on anything all you want, but the universe will ultimately decide for you when it's universally aligned for the thing to flow. So it's about releasing and letting go. But one of the biggest ones was coming back to Australia. One of the other ones was I actually manifested Lee. I sat. That's probably one of my better ones. For that, I had actually even going back before that, because I was in a really horrible space in my 20s, where something had happened and it had a huge impact, and it ended up in nearly 2 years of trauma, of emotional violence, which ended up in near physical violence, ended up in death threats. I had to go bankrupt, walk away from my house. And I ended up, Paul, and you know that I've shared this with you and I share it with people here, because this was one of my biggest manifestations. I was in the depths of depression and wanted to take my own life. And I had done the books, I had read everything, but I had nearly 2 years back and forth dealing with loads of cancer patients, buying my own house. Then I couldn't live in it. Then I was afraid to live in it. Then I had to leave it. Wow. And that took its toll. But the biggest manifestation out of that was I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. All I could see was darkness. And all I wanted was to be happy. That was my biggest manifestation. And that today gives me goosebumps. I have my husband, I have my 3 gorgeous boys. I love me. I love life. I know that I have a choice. When I was in that space, I didn't realize, I thought that all my accumulating thoughts, now I had a degree, I was the marks, sort of. But I did not know that just because you have a voice in your head, or just because you're having repeated thoughts, that doesn't make it so. It's just a loop that goes, that continues and just continues and continues. But I was unknowingly feeding into it. So there's different layers there even in manifesting, because manifesting is to create something, to make something real through your energy, through what you focus on, through what you want, what you desire, or what you don't desire subconsciously, what you're fearing all the time, what you're worried about all the time, what you feel about your beliefs, about yourself, about your worth. That was my biggest manifestation. And that is, I've manifested so many other things, but the most important is that, because that gave me a better life than I ever thought I could have.
Wow.
And it continues to get better every single day.
Donna, this has been just beautiful. It really has. And you, our audience, our Yovida master coach, Donna Martin, the guru of how to manifest. And oh, absolutely. You'll find Donna's series on the platform there. Do go there and.
No, thank you. No, look, I think there's so many points there that I want to unpick. Now, how are you doing, Paulette? Now,
yeah, I'm good, thanks.
All this making us look smart on these videos. God help us, right? I give up looking smart. You and Dr. Les look smart. I come as me, right? I'm as I am. Kenny, welcome. So Christine, I haven't seen you on the feed. I'm glad you're here. Felipe, thank you for joining us as well.
I've got you twice.
Where?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me?
You can hear me loud and clear. So have you got your LinkedIn tab open?
Have I? Well, I don't know.
Okay, that's all right. Dr. Vivian says amazing.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
She can hear us twice.
Okay. Well, that's because so the LinkedIn Live is going to be a delay off of the StreamYard.
Yeah.
So be in the StreamYard with us and shut down LinkedIn, or don't pay attention to it. Yeah.
I agree entirely. I agree totally. That's exactly it. Dr. Leah Garcia, as I saw you earlier, Leah Garcia is here as well. I'm glad you're here. Welcome, Leah. Wall of Wealth Genius.
No, I can hear you once.
Excellent. Wall of Wealth Genius is one who helps us build foundations around our wealth. That way you can earn the money, spend the money, and still have the money. That's unique, right? So Martin, thank you for being here as well. I appreciate all of you. If you want to come in the studio and chat with us, you can do. As Paulette's just done, so it can be done. You just need a StreamYard link. Any, I'm here. If you send me a link yet, I'll send you the link now. The link is in the comments page. I know when LinkedIn opens the event page, it tends to hide, the whole comments thing. So I'm going to send you the comments, the link, Tracy. Paulette, what's your take on our conversation? Manifesting, does it work for you? How does it work for you? What can we learn from you?
So I want to take you back. I'm not going back to Hell's Corner, but we're talking about, many, many years ago. The first time I watched Miracle on 34th Street and The Holiday House, and that little girl who just said, I want a dad, I want a holiday house, I want a little brother, right? And they go to the holiday house and they get the holiday house. And then she sees her mum's got a wedding ring on, and she finds that they got married on the eve of Christmas. And then they say, what was the other thing that you asked for? And he says, well, we'll just have to wait on that one, right? And we just have to wait and see. And it was a baby brother. And of course, they both looked down at their sort of business and wondered what on earth they've already done, because they've obviously only slept together the one night before. So the point of the story is she manifested 3 things: a child. And Leslie always says children are the best at this, right? They don't have fear like we do. Mm-hmm. They don't have failure like we do. They just go, that's what I want, I'm going to get it, right? And that's always been your teaching, Leslie. And I've thought about this, and the films, we've just recorded it, ready to watch it. And I said, actually, I wanted the holiday house. I remember saying to myself, one day, I'm going to have the holiday house. Mm-hmm. And I've watched that film, and I didn't even think about this until the other day. I have watched that film, every year of my life. I've watched it while I'm wrapping presents every single year for about 30 years, maybe 35. I got my holiday house. I got the Christmas tree house with the lights. And that's 35 years of watching a film. And it's the film that was manifest. I was manifesting through the film, through the little girl, wanting what she wanted, wanting to feel like she felt when she went running up the stairs to find her room. So I know now that this was no mistake. This was always going to be how it was going to end up, but I just didn't know it. And it wouldn't have been if I hadn't had my eyes opened by the Queen of Verada over there, that I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't honestly have known that. And it's taken years and years and years of wanting and seeing and watching that film. So it's about, when Leslie said to you, it's not about necessarily those got to do it 3 times a day, 5 times a day, so long. I believe it's just a manifesting of over and over and over and over, and wanting and desiring and obsessing and wanting it again. And there's that holiday house again. Damn you, it's still not mine, right? That's what I believe. I don't know that you have to do it weekly. I don't even know if you did it daily. I just know that you need to do it and you need to want it. And that's what you've proved. And you proved that to me. So the Queen of Verada, I bow to you, because
Thank you.
I'm absolutely serious. I would never have known that that little child that wanted that got it. And it's
Why
like
does
a dream.
Paulette, what is that? Okay, so that realization
Hmm.
that you had, I'm interested. What is it allowed you? What, internally, when you see this, what happens within us when we got this
Two things.
revelation? Okay.
2 things.
Hold
Desirability.
on, Paulette. One sec. Christine, Fede, please look in your DMs, and the link to join the studio is there. Sorry, Paulette.
So I can't find it in the comments. I did look. So you always say about deservability
Yes.
and ability, right?
Yes.
So the ability was me working my ass off. Am I allowed to say that? Are we past the watershed? Right. Deservability is me working my bum off, right? Working as hard as I could work. And then when I met Mr. Right, working as hard with him to get the money to get to where I wanted to get. But then the ability is the fact that I had the ability to work as hard as I could and in the right areas to raise the funds to get the holiday house. So I guess the words you use are deservability and ability. Those are 2 things that really stay in my mind every day. I deserve this, right? And when you're
And you're
driving your
capable.
car,
Yeah.
and I was capable, right?
Yes.
And when Eddie's driving his car, he's telling himself, I deserve this, right? It's absolutely right. And when you wrote your book, right, you've got your book in your hand and you go, yep, I deserve that. And with Jack and Water, just quickly, thank you again for just everything. But just on that note, because it's so heart-centered, you showed me that because it's heart-centered, I could make it work. You said to me, it's not for you. And I said, no, it's not for me. And you said, know your why and keep your eye on the prize because it's for the children.
Exactly.
And so your why, you keep going back to it. You go back to it. Every time you sort of feel like you're going to fall off, the why comes back and smacks you in the chops and says, it's for the kids. Don't you dare let them children down, right? Don't you dare let Martha down. She needs that money, right? So it is like that, So I just wanted to come up and say there's 2 things, that it is about deservability, is about ability. Yes, absolutely. But it doesn't happen overnight. It took me, as I say, I believe the first time when I saw that film, I was like, I'm that little girl. I wanted a dad. I wanted a brother. I wanted a house, right? I was that little girl. So it's just really interesting that you learn this. How many of it years I met Leslie a year ago, 2 years ago, 18 months ago, and now I know, and I didn't know. And that is magical to me. So thank you, Leslie. But also thank you, Annie, because you helped me get there. So kick me off. How do you kick me off?
I can kick you off if you want. That's easy enough. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you so much. I can remove you just like that. But Paulette, you can stay in the studio, and if you want, we're going to come back up. But I think that there is something about, as Paulette is saying, now, as you said earlier, Dr. Leslie, it's when you're ready that your dreams come true. What I think, I guess my question from Donna's video is almost, what's the sign of when you're ready?
You start to get curious. You start to question, is this all there is? Right? At some point that starts slowly. Curiosity, right? And really realizing, really, is this all there is? Everybody, so I kept saying, well, when am I going to be ready? When am I going to be ready? I want to be ready. I want to be ready. Right. So just be listening to different concepts or the same concept explained differently, and do your best not to poo-poo it or reject it because it doesn't land right. Sit with it a minute and give it a chance. You may opt not to embrace it, but rather than reacting, which is all about fear, like, I don't know about this, so that makes me look bad. That's the fear of criticism. That's your fixed mindset. So all you really need to do is consider maybe one new concept the way it's explained to you, and think about it. And that will develop a hunger for all the missing information that all of us have for each other. I have a certain amount, and people who don't know what I know come to me, and then I don't know everything. So I have to go to people who know more than me, right? So then I can pass it on to you. So even if you're just starting out, you still know more than a whole lot of people who know nothing. And so that's how we grow and fill in those gaps. The answers are all here. They're all here.
They're here already.
They are. They're here. They're here.
I agree with you. Dr. Islam, Donna is different time zone in Australia. We just couldn't make the time work, because Australia is half a day ahead of us, thereabouts, if not more. So that's why Donna's not here. But obviously, we're still friends, and part of my thing today, I will tell you, I've shared a link to her manifesting course on Uverdi, that's what they call it. It's a coaching platform. It's what do I call it? Courses platform. So go check out the link in the comments. There are a couple of videos you can watch there as well. So we're still best of friends, and I will forever owe Donna everything for for opening my mind to mindset. Much like Paulette just said about Dr. Leslie, my hero, my guide was Donna. So I will forever pay homage to what I learned from her. That's why I do these rooms. Dr. Lisa Fevik, I'm glad you're here. A menopause dietitian genius. So glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. All right, let's come to you, Tracy. What do you want to add to our conversation? Manifesting, take it where you like. Feel free.
I don't know what to say. I never manifesting anything, honestly. But
Really?
yeah.
But you have all your life.
All
your life.
But I just don't know. And I want to share with you, I'm the person who never ever remembered a dream. So when I was little, about 5 or 6 years old, and people, the kids start talking about, oh, I dreamed this, last night, and I was like, what? What's a dream? And I just start asking everybody, and they said, just the things you remember when you wake up. And then I told them, I don't remember anything at all, never. And I started to pretend I had a dream. I start telling people left and right, I had a dream, but honestly, I never remembered a dream. I know I had a dream, but I just don't remember. And I think at one time I really put a pen and paper next to me, and I want to write down what I had in the dream. I guess I really had a very good sleep. Okay, so I never really remembered anything. So
Yeah.
there are moments like I woke up in the morning. I had some very, very vague memory about something happened during the night. And now I just want to, I actually told myself, remember it. But, when the day break and everybody's moving around in the morning, it really came, I don't remember anything at all. So I really don't have any memory from my sleep at all.
Look,
At this
don't-
moment, still up to today.
Don't let that tell you that you don't manifest anything, right? Because I don't dream.
And that's the same way with my life. I
don't dream
don't
of
feel like
something.
I'm constantly counting on the things and then making a list. I don't do that kind of thing. I did when I started working. I had a to-do list every day, but that's something I look forward to, and at the end of the day I check them off. So that's mainly like a manifesto, but it's not manifestation, right? So this is a different thing, different concept. So I had a hard
Well,
time.
let
No,
me ask you a
and-
question. Let
Sure.
me ask her a question.
Go on, please.
So, Tracy, are you willing to consider that you do manifest and understand how you've always been doing it so that you could intentionally do it should you so choose? Or are you in a place where you're not interested and don't want to know that you've already done this? I mean, are you curious? Don't you want to know how you, or wouldn't you want to know how you already are a master manifester so that you can use it intentionally in your life and in the lives of your children? I'm just curious.
I wanted to know, but this word just doesn't speak to me at all. When I look at this, I can see 10 words after this root, but manifestation? What is it? I have no clue.
It's alchemy. Look up alchemy and then give me a call. We can talk about this. I'll be happy. There are other words besides manifestation, right?
Okay.
That it's alchemy, it's achievement.
The
Pick
law
an
of
easy
attraction.
word.
The law of attraction. I said that's
No,
not.
no.
You want to add that to the list?
Alchemy, yes, but those two things, I did not connect them together.
There you
if
go.
you say alchemy, then I understand.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a better
That's
word.
what it
to me.
is. That's what it is. So you do know what it is. It just didn't resonate with you.
Right.
No, the
right.
law of attraction is a subset of one of the 7 universal laws, and that is not necessarily part of this. It's part of it, but it's not on the context of this conversation, not really. But we can talk about that later.
Understand. That's better. I think I understood what's going on here, and I am sorry, Annie. This thing on my mobile device doesn't load up. It just shows a black screen. I had you one time when I was driving, and then when I came home, from mobile phone to home Wi-Fi, I lost you entirely, and I keep on refreshing, and then when I got on my computer, I see just 2 people talking, and I got confused. I'm in the right of event or not? It's funny.
Now these things happen. I've seen you on Restream, so maybe that's your platform. I
came to StreamYard before. Restream just seemed a little bit easier. I don't know why. Similar, very similar.
Of course it is. And look, I see Stephen's word is miracle. Again, I would use that to describe what happens when you manifest. It can feel like a miracle, but I guess it's a process. I think
it's a miracle if you don't know how it works.
Yes. Yes.
And it is, there are miracles, but if you look at it as a miracle, then where is the curiosity to figure out, well, how do miracles work? Just because we don't understand 100% how something works, as someone else said so beautifully, doesn't mean it's not working. So miracles can be explained if you're interested in knowing how they work. And if you're not, you can just call them a miracle and be done with it.
So when you talk about manifesting, is the moment or the path?
Manifestation is the final moment when you receive it.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a process. It's also a process.
Do all people receive that, or some people
Absolutely, absolutely. Everybody does it all the time. You're just unaware, particularly children. So if you remember, you know, anyone will remember this, when you're a kid and you see a new bicycle seat and you see the bicycle seat everywhere. It's in a magazine. You rip it out and put it on your wall. This is the new bicycle seat. It's banana yellow. You want it. You start to visualize yourself riding your bike with the new seat with your friends and having a good time. Notice you're not watching the yellow bicycle, right? You're actually riding the bicycle. This is what children do all the time. They're visualizing. And as Paulette said, their fears are less at some point, at a younger point. As we get older, they're more deeply embedded. And so it's harder for us to stay focused on that yellow bicycle seat. And you aggravate your parents. And it's on the TV screen. Mama, Daddy, look, there it is again. And you see someone riding with you. Go by a store and there it is. Children, and then it's Christmas time and you find it under the tree. And as a child, you think, oh my God, how did they know? How did they know? You see,
Miracle.
Exactly. Steve said that. It's a miracle.
I'll let you hear from Christine while I restart my device.
Please.
I'm frozen, so.
Okay.
Christine, the mic is yours.
Hello.
Hi, Kitty.
Hello.
Queen
Judy, I
Kitty.
have no makeup on.
Queen
So
Kitty.
let's
Queen
talk about
Kitty.
this. Yes, thank you. I don't love the spontaneous video, but I can't help but want to get up here sometimes. But I hear you talk about this all the time, manifestation, and it's something that I really thought was kind of hokey, and I was an atheist for a long time too. Now I don't know what I am, but so I really like Steve, but when people used to use that word miracle, I used to be like, you know, like, please give me a break. But it kind of I think sometimes that's a good word. I mean, I know that I've talked about things that I guess I was sending that energy out. Certain things, like when I wanted my children, I tried for many, many years. I was with my husband over 10 years. We had done IVF, nothing was working. And then he had a second act as a nurse, and we had spent all our money. We had no money left. And I noticed that he had, benefits that covered the whole thing. And we had frozen leftovers, and it, the first time actually it didn't work. And then I was just going to give up. I was just so devastated. And the doctor was like, you have to try again, because at least you got pregnant, because I wasn't getting pregnant. But anyway, lo and behold, I have two 13-year-old daughters now. And I really had totally given up at some point. I didn't really, it's something I always still wanted, like, I guess I didn't, but I don't know how to explain that then, if it still happened, because part of me didn't want to be disappointed, right? But the other part of me was like, maybe there's, still a way. And that it's a miracle, because it's a miracle of science and of the universe, because to be cryogenically frozen for that long too and still turn out okay is kind of nuts. And then I have the story also of my master's degree that you know about, but that's without getting into all the blow by blows. It's something I always wanted to do. I actually was going to go do it before I got pregnant with my twins, but then life threw me that curveball. It was a good one. And then years later, I just happened to be at a women's conference and stumbled across a table. Somebody said, "You want to go back to school?" I said, "I'm too old." And they kept chasing me down. I was invited to apply to a pilot program that was an accelerated program, and it was a reduced cost because we were the guinea pigs, and it was just the right amount of money that it normally was 60,000, but my company would pay 20,000, and that's what the price was reduced to, and I got in. So it's crazy. I do think that there's I can't deny that there's something to it. And I was going to give one other short story this is a smaller type of miracle, but I've shared pretty openly that I've been in recovery. And anyway, it told me to find a higher power, which I had to struggle with, but I did work on that. And the only way you really become convinced of that is if you have a spiritual experience. It has to be a personal spiritual experience, or else it just doesn't really work. I don't think so. But I was reading this book and I suggest it to everybody. It's called The Divine Matrix. And I really like science. And this really connected kind of religion or even religion and spirituality with science. It talked about quantum entanglement that Einstein talks about. When you split a particle and they're miles apart, one half will still behave exactly like the other half, like stuff we can't explain or don't understand. And he ties it in a really beautiful way to science and spirituality. And anyway, I had this like aha moment when I was reading the book. Like it really clicked with me. And it's called a Divine Matrix. And I just had that moment and I was driving my car and I wanted to just stop because I felt a little overwhelmed and I thought I would take a walk. Do you know, I was walking along and I look up and the name of the street, and what are the odds of this, is called Matrix Way. So I just was like, I don't know. For me,
That's because you want to know why that happened. Would you like to know?
Yes. I'm going to leave it there. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, here's the thing. That happens because you're on that thought frequency. That is what you're focused on. And if you were not focused on it, you wouldn't have noticed it because you actually are on a different thought frequency. You actually focused on that. So anything, it's kind of like when you get pregnant. You notice how there are all these pregnant people walking around, right? Everybody's pregnant when you're pregnant because that is top of mind. So that's all that actually is happening there. You moved to another thought frequency. And it was top of mind. That's like when you go to a networking event. Most people have experienced this. In a networking event where you have a goal or your intention is to meet, well, let's say one referral partner in your business or one new client, and it's very specific, your niche. You go into the networking event, and there's all kinds of people there, lots of noise talking, and someone across the room is talking about your goal. They know about this thing, and you hear it across the room over the cacophony of everybody else because you're both on a higher thought frequency based on your focus. You'll hear them go over there, and it's perfect. That is a phenomenon that now you can understand how that works.
Yeah, so I'm just saying I'm a believer, and I am shocked that I am. But it's real.
Fun. It's
real
fun,
stuff.
And it takes courage and character to do what you're doing, because most people weenie away with the fear. Oh, it doesn't work, and they're just not ready. But can we find out what our friend Jay, what's on his mind? Are you finished? Christine?
I am totally done. Thank you so much.
Stay.
I'm gonna go back down. I'll come back.
No, stay up here. You look adorable, Jay.
I need Kenny to join me though. But okay.
Oh no, we don't need Kenny to join you. Okay. Kenny. I mean, excuse me, Jay. Let's hear from you.
Yes. So Leslie, I know that I guess I'm confused. I want to understand, when I was going through the issue with trying to get back up on my feet and trying to get I guess, back to some sense of normalcy after the tornado, I really listened intently to Bob Proctor and his teachings. And one of the things that came up was it not to obsess. And obsessing, and the reason I use the word obsessing is because I was actually reading something about PTSD. When you obsess over something, it's usually constantly thinking about something over and over again, usually because you're worried, usually because you want something to come from this, right? Or you're trying to achieve something. And when you do that, it's usually out of fear. And that's what I was dealing with PTSD. And so when the information from Bob Proctor came along, put the intention out there, focus on the intention, don't obsess over it, and let the universe, God, or your faith allow it to come to you. That's what.
So what you're doing is using the word obsess. It has a certain meaning for you. It's not about the negative obsession. You can have positive obsession as well.
Well, I'm just going by the dictionary. Leslie, sorry, it did say it's usually about worry.
Well, that's the dictionary, but you know what? People, you don't think that the people who created the computers, you don't think that the Wright brothers were obsessive about their desire to create an aircraft? You don't think that, I can't think of their names now, Steve Jobs and those people lived obsessive lives in the love for bringing something into the world. So I really think all it is, Jay, is the word. I think it's the word.
You think?
Yes.
I think the better word wouldn't be obsession. I think the better word would be passion.
Passion is a good one. Desire is a good one. Pick whatever word, but you obviously have a trigger with obsession. You have a certain belief about it. It's perfectly okay. All you have to do is find another word that doesn't trigger, that is objective. Just like with what Tracy had said about, like, she was kind of confused by the word manifestation, but when I said alchemy, it clicked, right? So dissociation, lots of things, check out. Okay, right. So that's all there is. So to clear up the confusion, pick another word. Pick desire. In Think and Grow Rich, it's desire, right? It's the starting point of all achievement. I say obsessive, and maybe I shouldn't use that word because I totally get what's happening here with you. And I don't have to use that word. So I just want to thank you for that, because I am not going to use it that way anymore, Jay. I don't want to trigger anybody, and I want them to realize that it's a deep, heart-centered soul, love, and desire. It's top of mind to bring something into the world that is good for the world. So does that make sense? Well, I don't want to ask that question because I know it makes sense. Does that help? Like, can you do that? And will you consider doing that so that that doesn't bother you ever again?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's important. Obviously because I use words a lot. I'm a storyteller.
Yes.
It hits me a certain way. So I appreciate that. Thanks for clarifying and helping.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it. That's
I like how Stephen looks at it. Obsession is trying to make sense, or does not exist, manifesting its acceptance of what is here but not yet visible. That's
a way of looking at it. That's another. It's like if manifestation or this process was a big diamond, and we were all in the same room sitting around in a circle, and we all had to look at the room through the diamond. The room doesn't change. The room is the room, but each individual's perception or view looking at the room through the diamond is going to be slightly different. And that's what we're doing here, is finding ways to be objective and responsive rather than reactive. And very often words have triggers like the word sorry, right? Sorry in the South is the worst thing you could be. Those are sorry people. There was a game called Sorry. Sorry when you knocked everybody's, right? So I teach people to say, I apologize or thank you for your patience, because I don't think we even realize there are women, certainly as they came into the workplace as full-time business owners about 30 years ago, in our role as being at home and nurturers, saying you're sorry is very natural. I'm so sorry that this happened to you. It's so far you're a nurturer, but you don't use it in business. You say, I apologize. Let me make that right for you. So it has a very low vibration in business, right? But yet at home, it's perfect. So it was particularly challenging helping women change and transmute into business people, because they have a whole host of words that we use that are nurturing that stick out like a sore thumb in business. Sorry is one of them, right? Crying is another one. There's no crying in business. So there's a lot of things that we don't manage well and that we're learning to manage. It would be the same if all the men went home and decided that they were going to be the nurturer. You know, they would have a learning curve on how to do all these things and how to fix the boo-boo and how to calm down people the way women do. So it's kind of the same thing. Anyway.
I hear you. Look, my friend, thank you. I think we must bring the conversation to an end soon. Christine, I can see you're dying to say something.
I was just going to say that, you know how to read people, but I was just going to say that my daughter was really sick with like a norovirus, vomiting everywhere. And my husband's actually a nurse, and she was begging me to come home from wherever I was so I could lay down and stroke her hair and everything else. It's just something that I do think, at least in my family dynamic, that they want their mommy. So still, there's something to it.
There really is. You know, I think Kenny's visualizing and trying to manifest a cheesecake, a sweet potato cheesecake, as Kenny always does, right? You know, it might fall on you while you're in bed, Kenny. Who knows, right? I'll stay work a bit longer. You never know. It might just turn up. Go and cook it, Kenny. That's it. That's the idea, right? You know, you want it, go cook it, and it'll be there in your kitchen, looking at you. But my friends, I thank you all. So our time has come to an end. You know, Dr. Leslie, you know, how do people contact you? Because you've been, you know, you are the star of the show. The rest of us are just learners and we're practicing people, right?
Come on. So look, Friday mornings at 10 a.m. I teach Think and Grow Rich. 10 a.m. live. You can learn all the principles of success and the stories, and you got to hear them repetitively for them to kind of, for you to absorb them over time. Monday with Paulette and I, we have Mind Over Matter Mondays. We talk about this very thing. It's an audio and soon to be video room. And then reach out to me on LinkedIn. Starting in January, there'll be a 12-week program. It's 12 weeks, $1,200. And we will meet each week. And there's a lot to it. And if you want to be part of that program, just let me know. That's it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Look, I would say your wisdom has been invaluable today. You know, I didn't want to talk about this with just me. Then I'm sure I would have put it off without the videos. But you being here has given us a lot more, you know, the practical side of things, and and that's a part I'm interested in. I think when we learn how to manifest things, we do live happier lives, and our life will truly change. You know, that's the reason I'm talking about this topic today. But every time we talk about these sort of things, I learn some more. And, you know, I'm grateful for that from all of you.
And Annie, this is the fifth dimension. You know, we touched on it. I just want to tell you that when you visualize and you create in the future as though you already have it, that is the fifth dimension. You don't have to go anywhere. It is a shift in your thought frequency, and it bypasses fourth dimension, which is all the time elements are missing. But fifth dimension, you can do yourself, and it's fun because it's a real high vibration, and you can do it and practice it, and you'll be in the fifth dimension whenever you want.
Yeah, and I think I love the alchemy way of looking at it. Like it's mixing, like it is, no, it mixing all those things together: thoughts,
Yes.
belief, who we are, what we think of ourselves, what our goals are, and everything into one. It really is. It's a chemist, the best chemist work. That's the way I'm looking at it, and it really is. Look, of course,
Mhm.
I have to highlight Nicole's comment. Dr. Leslie, your Goal Achievers workshop was fantastic. And maybe this is my last show of the year for this room anyway. I mean, most of my rooms. If we can learn this one lesson, learn to do this, 2025 would be a different experience. I can promise everyone. See,
Yeah.
when I learned this lesson, it changed my life. Now, when I keep talking about mindset, I think that you find that because of this moments like when I learned this lesson, I thought I must share this with the world. It's not even that hard, and we can all do it. The results are astonishing. Maybe I've had the best 6 months in business than I've had in 10 years. Just by learning lessons like this. If you can do the same, your 2025 will be different. Christine, do you have anything you want to say before we go? You don't have to. No, thank you so much for coming on stage, Christine. And actually, I appreciate you coming on stage. I really do. Everyone that's come to speak on stage, Jay, Paulette, Tracy, thank you so much. And I said, enjoy. I might see you in a couple more rooms before Friday. And maybe Monday. They're going to make me work on Monday. Damn. But other than that, if I don't see you, my friends, have a great Christmas. And the new year starts with a bang. That's what I would say to everyone. Look, thank you so much. And I say, connect with Dr. Leslie. Last, I'll say my mindset coach, Donna Martin, I put her link in the comments. There's a video interview there, talk about manifesting. So do go check out the video. And also, she has a course on Uverdi. So it's a trainer coaching platform. Have a look at it. That's what I said I will do today. This raise awareness about it. So if you want, that interests you, you do what you do. It doesn't benefit me, it doesn't hurt me either way. Now, thank you so much, everyone that's joined us, everyone that's commented. Hopefully, as many of you have seen that this platform is not so scary. It is just what it is, right? There's no need to be scared of LinkedIn Live.
That's right.
I say again, Christine, coming with your camera on, I appreciate you all. I really do. So I'm going to play the outgoing music.
Okay. Time to wrap. You've been trying to wrap it up for.
We're going. No, we have to learn to do these things in a slow process. Bye, everyone. Bye,
Love
everyone.
you. Bye.
She's success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum.
Thank you.